Broadcasting from Miami, Florida.
Check this out.
Let's go. Welcome to 25-8, The Culture. On who's hot and who's not. Everything hip-hop. Turn it on, turn it up, get it loud. Here we go. You're now vibing with 25-8, The Culture.
Yo, it's your boy DJ Pablo Maccabee from 25-8 The Culture with your host D-Wise, one half from the big fellas.
What's up? You know what it is. You're gonna have a great episode in store. Y'all check it out. Don't mind this, but it is gorgeous. You feel me? Let's get to it.
Also, we got my boy in the building, Big Money Boy Lance. What it do from Nobody's Podcast?
What's going on, my people?
What you sipping on, though?
Oh, you already know. I got the Henny in my cup, got the smoke in my other hand. Let's get to it.
Facts.
All right, so today we got a special episode. We got some queens on this episode. Yo, D-Wise, go ahead and introduce them.
First of all, I got the best of the best. These are not just queens. They're all masters in their field. They all kill it. All out of South Florida, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to introduce all of them, and please just say your name, you know what I'm saying? First off, I'm going to introduce the Charisma of Faith and Flyness. You know what I mean? She's here. What's up? How you doing today?
What's up, guys? I'm so happy to be here tonight. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you. And then also I got another queen here, Schardescia Lovepassy, you know what I mean? First lady of the streets. Thank you for being here today. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear. I was all happy with my introduction. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And
Thank you.
And
last and definitely not least, I got JJ Burroughs in here of Daily Fresh Marketing. Say hello, Queen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you all so much for having me here tonight. I'm excited to get into it.
And once again, I just want to say thank you for joining on. A lot of people have been highlighting us on the show saying they want the female perspective. They want to hear what the ladies got to say. So I couldn't think of no one better than you three queens jumping in on the show and hollering and giving a piece of your mind from every 2 cents you got. And I'm going to say this again. Please don't hold back because Lance definitely isn't.
Yo, don't put me out there like that.
Yo, we don't bite tongues. Definitely get into it. If you're passionate about something, give us all of it. You know what I mean? And I respect everything you say. And if it gets heated, all good. You feel what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, we're here to talk. We're here to elevate. We're here to, you know what I'm saying, master other minds and talk about the uneasy, the pressured, and the hot. You feel me? So thank you for being here.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, so first topic for discussion, Kamala Harris. What are your thoughts on her being, being our first new vice president and a colored woman?
We're kicking it off to Pablo.
You know what? Let's have Schardescia. Go ahead and kick that off. They's the first Black lady vice president. How you feel about her?
I'll say colored or melanin.
They said Black on the politics. They kept saying Black. They said Black a lot.
Black.
Right.
however,
Oh, say that again?
however, my take on it,
Absolutely.
the media does say Black. However, Kamala Harris' birth certificate says Caucasian. So it's like her dad's Indian, her dad's from Jamaica, her mom's from India. Not quite sure how she was able to put Caucasian for her daughter. So I don't see a first Black president unless I can vice president, unless I can identify with her. And what culture does she identify with? Can she identify with the modern day American? Because I'm Black. My birth certificate say Black, my ID say Black. It doesn't say Caucasian. So that's just my take on it. The whole title in itself, her image is Black, but what do she identify with? That's my question.
All right, Curtis. Listen, I'm gonna say this. She's Black. I don't believe Black people are monolithic. I don't believe white people are monolithic. You're Black, I'm Black, but we may not have the same Black experience. And so I may not even be able to relate with you, but that doesn't make me any less Black. She's a Black woman. I'm happy she's there because I want my Black daughter to grow up and to see those images. I want to normalize images of Black people in positions of power, in positions of leadership. I want them to grow up seeing Black presidents, Black vice presidents, Black mayors, senators, doctors, rappers, you know, garbage truck drivers, everything. I want them to be able to grow up in the world where they're able to see themselves, able to see mirrors everywhere they look, not just windows. So that's my take on it.
I'll piggyback and say the same. I know a lot of people, they were saying like what she identified as, and too, I have a young daughter. I'm a new mom, and I think it's very important, you know, to have this representation. So when she comes up, she sees, oh, mommy, there was someone that looked like me. I can grow up, you know, I don't have to just be, you know, or secretary is my limit, you know, I can be the vice president, and for whatever, I can go in further and try to be the president. So I think it's important. I am excited, you know, to see us there in the White House.
And she does,
and as a woman.
Yeah, she does identify as Black. So
Lance, how you feeling?
Lance,
Go ahead. You definitely respond, Schardescia. What you gonna say?
I don't go off image. I don't go off of, because I have two daughters. I have a 18-year-old who's going to be 19, and I have a 16-year-old. So I personally don't go off an image of a person because of their color, and I don't take up for them because of that. However, I root for my people. If she was up against somebody else, of course I'm a. However, I just need to know how she identified, because if we go deep into it, her Biden has passed so many wild just laws against who we are as a community. That's just my take on it. Maybe I have to dig a little bit more into, well, not that. I have to see what she's going to bring. How about that?
okay, that's fair. But one thing I would like to say that, you know, that conversation, if we're going to have it about Kamala, we need to have it about everyone. Because one of the things is, you know, when she was running, and I'll just full disclose, I worked on the campaign, so I'll be very full disclosure there. But one of the things I want to say is that, you know, when she was running, a lot of times her record came up as a prosecutor. So we're going back before senator, we're going back to prosecutors. But how many times have we had that conversation? Did we look specifically at Pence's record at governor when he was coming up? Did we go back to Biden's record, not as senator, but on his job before? See, we don't have that conversation when it comes to white men coming into positions. We let them come in with mediocre records. We let them come in with no experience. We have a whole president with no experience in the military. And we have no experience in any of that, and we're okay with that. But it's like when Black women come up to the podium, when we come up to bat, it's like, okay, what did you do on your last 4 jobs? What was your record? What was this? What was that? And we hold a bar up, but we can go back to all the white vice presidents before her. I ain't had none of this conversation about their jobs before they became legislators. So let's just make the bar even for everybody. That's all I say.
Oh, well, I just only answered the question like I did because the subject is of our first Black vice president, but thanks for schooling me.
No, I want you to listen. I hope that didn't feel like no attack. I'm just saying, let's be fair. Let's put Black women up to the same bar that we put the white men up to. Let's put them all, listen, let's look at everybody's record. If we opening up 3 jobs ago, then let's go back 3 jobs on everybody. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
When it comes to this, and this is the one thing I'm going to agree with Schardescia with, I didn't hear, and don't knock it against anybody. She's not responsible for who wrote what on her birth certificate. She didn't have that choice. So I'm not gonna hold her account. I can't put her in some place like she didn't even have white on her birth certificate. She had no choice in the matter. Her parents did what they did. That's for them to answer. But what I will say is I didn't really see her being pushed as a Black candidate. I heard her really connect with her Indian roots and have the actress from Office come and cook an Indian dish and do the other things. Now, that's all I'm saying. I didn't hear the push until she ran for president and then she got picked. I saw him pushing that agenda. I haven't heard out of her mouth really push anything except for her being Indian American, which is all good because there's Black and white people in every country. So just because she's Indian and pushing that agenda or pushing that doesn't mean she's not Black. She'll still be viewed as a Black woman. We get on the bus or we in the car and get pulled over by the police, we're all gonna be Black. They ain't got time to break us down. So that's the only thing I can agree on that one. It's like, I didn't hear that push of I'm a Black woman until like the whole politics came through, because other than that, she was a proud Indian woman, which is nothing wrong with being proud of what you are. But then after things started to unfold, That's what I hear. All the other things about her policy and stuff like that, give her a fair chance just like we gave everybody else. She might be the next best thing. I don't know, only time will tell. I'm straight on the board of what can you do and keep your words in, keep whatever the words you said, be honest by it, go in, don't make any mistakes, do the best you can do. And if you keep by your words, all the promises that you said you're going to do and you and Joe Biden are going to do, you guys can get another 4 years. If you guys screw up, you can get out the White House just like Trump. You know what I mean? We need to get back to hold these people accountable for their actions and what they do by what they do. I don't care about what they look like, how they get down, whatever, because if you lie to me, you're still a liar. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. Lance, what's going on in your mind?
Few things, honestly. She spoke about I'm sorry, I don't have your name off the top right now. But you spoke about how we go back to 3 and 4 jobs and make everything equal for everybody. I thought that's why we made fun of Trump, because he has no experience. Pence, the Pence part, Pence is a loser. We all knew he was a loser. Like I don't think it was so much about we cared about his resume. Like we knew he's a bozo. So it wasn't no need to beat a dead horse on the fact that he was a bozo. He was Vice President Bozo to President Bozo. And that's the whole point of why we've been killing him. So I understand why representation is so important. I just wish that wouldn't be the first thing said before anything is done. I don't care if she white, black, pink, or purple. I didn't know she was claiming black till she popped up on the Monica and Brandy verses. So for me, all that's a miss. But I'm not holding her to a standard of her blackness. I don't care. You got a lot of making up to do for all them people you incarcerated. There's a meme going around of people you kept incarcerated past their release dates so they could do work in the prisons. So a lot of baggage just from those things. But you're at a different platform now. You're the vice president. Please just do what you said you were going to do. And at the end of the day, that's all we're really going to care about. What are you going to do with this seat? You're the vice president. You got all the power. You're the second most powerful person in the world. What are you going to do with it? Because you can put anybody there. If they don't do anything, if they don't stick to their word, it don't matter what color they are. And it's not going to be the right representation that you want. Because all they'll say now is, oh, well, look, that's Kamala Bozo with Bozo Biden. Still has to give you something to be proud of. And I think that's what we should be focusing on.
I know you've been analyzing. You got to put your 2 cents on it, man.
No. You know what? I think everybody said enough, to be honest. But like, if anybody else wanted to comment on this before we move on to the next topic.
Yeah, please, anybody.
I thought there was a lot of great valid points from everybody's argument. Like, seeing somebody that looks like, our melanated skin. And, like I talk about this all the time. Like, the area that I live in is mostly, white and Spanish people. And, so my daughter, she's mixed. So I want her to see other mixed melanated people in high positions. So I want to move to a different area that actually has people that look like me, that are successful, that drive Mercedes and BMWs and go for a jog and stuff like that. So it is important for our culture to see people, to see somebody that's melanated in a high position of office. And like other people around the world view the president as like the most important person in the world of the United States. When Obama was in office, like my friend was in Germany, it was like when Obama was on TV, like everybody in Germany stops what they're doing and they want to see what the president of the United States is saying. So, having somebody that looks like us, being a woman, being melanated is very important. I want my daughter not to see like other black people and be like, well, how come he's riding a bicycle that's pink to the corner store back and forth, and how come his position's only a garbage man and not somebody that holds a high position and stuff like that, So I think it's very important to see melanated people in high positions in the United States.
Absolutely. And last thing I'm gonna say, and then we can move on to the next topic. I feel like Kamala Harris, more than any other vice president, has to be ready to be president, because Joe Biden's old, and he's old, he's getting age, and don't wish any ill will to that man. But I really feel like since he is now officially the oldest president-elect and soon to be, they'll give him his stuff, president that in the history of the U.S., I really feel like she has to. And that's why when they asked her the question during the debate, I didn't think it get answered. It got answered by Pence or Kamala Harris, maybe out of respect or fear of how it can be twisted. But I really feel like she has to be ready to get on that horse. So, just whatever you're at the number 2 position. You got to be ready to be at the number 1 position and just keep up on your words and do right. And then I think if you do that, you'll get nothing but love and respect from all your peers and everybody that voted for you guys.
Listen, the way Biden jogged on that stage, I think he ready.
Listen, they just voted Mitch McConnell back in, and he older than Biden, and so is Nancy Pelosi. I mean, he the oldest president, but he is the oldest one up there. They all them way in their 80s.
I will give you that jog he did when they called him out, and now Vice President Joe Biden, he was ready. I'll give him that. What's the next topic?
He wasted his last good sprint.
Oh man.
All right, so on to the next topic is interracial dating. Do we approve, disapprove? Is it a problem? Also too, Madam Vice President, her husband is I believe a white Jew as well. So she's also displaying an interracial relationship. I know some people feel like within the culture that we should stick to our own race and stuff like that, especially when it comes to building the Black family and the Black structure. Or should we be, past that and just like, you love who you love? Whoever wants to take up this questions, go ahead.
I'm gonna pick out. I'm gonna have JJ Burroughs answer this one, her feelings and her views on this one.
I guess I will say, just like in experience, I've seen people who date outside of their race only because they would put down the people, as being a Black man. I've seen Black men, date white women or date Spanish women only, they feel that, Black women are too loud or too ghetto or, whatever that may be. So I guess for me, I just have my problem, I guess, from what I've seen in the past is men selecting women because they feel that they've gotten better or, this is like a prize, but like your mother is, African American. But I mean, in my own family, I have cousins. My aunt married, a man who was Arabic. So I mean, I'm open. I think at the end of the day, I love my Black man. We have, a Black daughter. I think it's important to keep the Black family, but you love who you love, and you rock with who you rock with.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I don't have a problem with love. I think that whoever you love, but I do have a problem when a person selects someone of another race and then they say they do that because the person of their own race is XYZ inferior to the other person. I can't rock with that. You can't tell me you picking a white girl because she's superior to Black women, or she's, again, because I just don't believe any of us are monolithic. I don't believe all Black women are anything. I don't believe all white women are anything. I just don't believe any of that. So if you say I like, and you can have a preference, I like tall, I like slim, I like long hair, whatever. There are Black women that fit that category. So you can't say I went here for that. Or I like people who are submissive. I've heard that. Or, docile. It's Black women that fit that. So you can't say, but you can like who you can have a preference. You can like, I just don't like the whole, I did this because Black women are, and you can insert whatever you want to put at the end of that. Like whatever at the end of that, I'm not cool with that. Like you can't just take all Black women, put us in a bucket and say, I'm doing what I want this because all Black women are whatever that is. So, but besides that, we have interracial. My brother-in-law is Caucasian. My nieces are biracial. I mean, we have a melting pot in our family. So you love who you love, but I just don't like that part.
Schardescia, how you feeling about this topic? Like, what's on your mind?
Well, I matured. It would irritate me to see, it's weird to see interracial couples piggybacking on what everyone else said about how us Black women would get put down. We would get judged. We would get talked about. and then they will also turn their backs on their own family, go into another culture, or she would do the same thing. So my issue used to be with that, is that you tear down who you are and who your family is to rise up another woman or another man. I'm at the point now, because I've been through so much, I might wind up with whoever. You love who you love. You care about who you care about. Because you have people that's in Boca Raton, Florida, that's majority white. So you have wealthy Black families that's there, that's what they go to school with. Like my daughters, they will complain that it was school, they wanted to come back to the hood. So had they stayed for a long time, sometimes you're in that environment, you can't really judge. You can't really. However, I judge when you see postings, videos, Facebooks of them rising up another race because of what they went through in their childhood or at school being rejected. So that's my.
The ball rolling over there, Lance.
I saw Lance shaking his head. Don't give it to us, Lance. Give it to us. Don't hold back.
All right, like
Men and women.
okay, all right. And I don't feel like in this climate, in the society we live in, you can actually have a problem with interracial relationships just because of all the love that is going around in the world today. So if I'm speaking on my personal preference or just an understanding of my view on it, I hear what you Queen is saying about being put down and choosing a Spanish woman because of this or a white woman because of that. All I hear is preference. If somebody chooses a white woman because their experience is this, how I'm gonna sit there and tell him, oh, you putting down a Black woman, if that's all he know, what he's supposed to do? Put down a green woman? Oh, you know, that green girl over there, man. So to a certain extent, I agree. We don't need to put down Black women to date outside of our race. But growing up as a Black kid, you just remember the car on fire in the yard with Angela Bassett because the brother dating a white woman. So it ain't like it's accepted. It's just something that happens. I understand. We don't.
But Lance, was the car on fire because he dated a white woman or because of the way that he discarded their relationship after she sacrificed for 20 years for him to climb? I don't know if it was just the white woman. I think it was just kind of the way he came home with it and just dropped her like she hadn't invested all of her life into their relationship. So I don't know. I think we have two different perceptions on that scene.
Yeah, one thing about relationships, people are upset if they waste time. You know, when you waste time on somebody, you waste your youth, you invested, and you ain't getting the return that you want. It's like anybody's gonna be upset. You feel me? So I can see why she set the car on fire. You know, you 20 years invested. It's like, nah, I could have done this, I could have done that, and I invested in you.
She had a good 20-year run. She had a good 20-year run. It ain't like it's not like she was living in. It's not like she was living in the doghouse with the backyard. She was living in the big house.
It ain't that, but 20-year-old me was popping way different than 40-year-old.
Right.
Getting out on the streets as a 40-year-old woman is much different than being out there as a 20-year-old woman.
Okay, now 100%. But the 20-year-old popping may not have even landed a brother of that caliber.
What I mean, I wasn't mean like popping like that, but what I'm saying is the pool is a lot larger at 20 than it is when you're at 40 out there. Because a lot of the people, my peer group, I mean, personally, I'm not into 20-year-old dudes and I'm 40. People in my peer group, many of them are already married. Many of them are already, so the pool just looks different. That's all I'm saying. So I would have rather known you weren't with me when I was 25. Let me get back out there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than let me go to I'm 45, than to say I'm not feeling this. And I ain't been feeling this during this time. That's all I'm saying. Give me that. Love me enough to let me go.
Thanks.
I mean, in that circumstance, you feel what I'm saying? Like, okay, first I'm gonna hit the whole interracial relationship thing. I really don't care. My preference is, I've always loved sisters. Like I said, I grew up, like, you know what I mean, in the melting pot where I saw a little bit of everything. I saw white, black, Spanish, Indian, Jamaican, Haitian, whatever. And it was all good. However, you know, whatever you bounce with, you bounce with. You feel what I'm saying? I've seen things that you wouldn't even believe just because of what was around. Like I've seen, you know what I'm saying, a Haitian be with a Japanese girl, and then you're like, oh, like, you feel what I'm saying? And now we have a tennis star that's where the parents were. But this is before it was all good, like, you feel what I'm saying? So I've seen blends and mixes that, like, some people like, oh, I didn't see that coming. You know what I'm saying? A Hawaiian cat with a French Canadian girl, or you know what I'm saying? And the French Canadian girl is black. Like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different mixes and stuff like that where it's all good. My preference has always been with the, you know what I'm saying, sisters. Like, I love them. I just think you get that from having a strong black woman, which my mother was. So I just, in my mind, I was like, yeah, you know, everyone has their own beauty, and you can't deny that. So I would never get mad at one of my brothers or one of my friends or one of my people's going, you know what I'm saying, to say, crossing the fence to go to the other side to see what's going on. That's really not an issue. It's not a problem. You feel what I'm saying? I also accept responsibility too for, like, if you lose your mind, you know, I've just always was told to be honest from the jump. You feel what I'm saying? So if someone's debate was like, okay, you know, sister's temper is up, you know, crazier than everybody else's, I've seen Spanish tempers be nuts. I've seen Asian women be nuts. I've seen white women, to respond to what Lance was saying, white women was out there cutting off dicks. I remember, you feel what I'm saying? So we can't say, like, I think I'd rather have you light my car on fire. I think I really, like, you could light my brand new car on fire than me waking up and my friends missing. You feel what I'm saying? So that whole anger thing depends. You do have to treat right. My mom's always said, just keep it 100. Like, if I'm having issues, if I come to you, you know what I'm saying, the first quarter rather than the last quarter, you know what I mean? We can get through it. We can at least be respectful. Now, sometimes women in general, some of y'all, I feel like you can get crazy even if I come be honest with you first quarter, because it is what it is. But I think it's a lot less tension if I just let you know from the jump what it is. We can either work through it, or we can just, you know, go left and right. And I do accept your thing where the pool is completely different being 21 to being 40. People are getting married, people got kids, your options are different. I was like, I don't want to date anybody with kids. That was my preference. I just didn't want to do it. But the older I got, the more I realized that that window was shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So I get what you were saying. Yeah, that's my spin on it. DJ Palamac, you gotta take us home on that one. What's the period on this topic?
Does anybody else want to cover this or no?
Yeah, I got a question. So is that youth that gets wasted that we're all talking about? Is that only happen to the female? Does the dude stay 20 or 22 the whole time? Because that's all I hear.
No, because I just said, like, my preference was like, yo, if I didn't want to date women with kids, whatever. So if the woman did something foul against me and I gotta go get back in the pool for my preference, I'm gonna have to dig my preference away now, because now I have to look at the pool of all the women my age have kids now. It's just something that happens. So that would destroy what I like. So yeah, if a woman did something to me dirty after 20 years, you gotta be fucked up now, because now I have to do shit that I didn't really want to do. You know what I mean? So nah, it's not just about women, niggas too. Absolutely, don't forget us.
I mean, also too, like, another thing about relationships, like, people change, some people grow, some people stay the same person forever. And then you're involved in a relationship and you're like, I'm just not in love with you anymore because you haven't changed or evolved as a person. And, you know, like, maybe you, now you, like, you don't want to be with this person. And sometimes, like, for you to grow, you may have to cut that person off, because sometimes you stay in a relationship and you're literally dying in that relationship because you're not getting to be yourself or your true calling or as an individual. Some relationships are just like a lease. It could be a 7-year-old lease or 20-year-old lease. And sometimes you do need to move on or separate. You know, sometimes we stay with people because of history and stuff like that. But, you know, also too, back to the whole interracial dating, you know, when it comes to men, I feel like men are just attracted to, you know, just beautiful women in general. And I feel like most Black women are just mostly attracted to Black men. They may not be attracted to an Asian guy or a white American guy because they don't feel like that's their field. You feel me? Like, this Asian guy doesn't really, you know, my cup of tea, or this this white guy, you know, I don't feel as comfortable that we we connect, you know. And I just want to get your point of view as Black women. Is that like something that's true, or is like no, just you love who you love? Go ahead.
For me, that's true. It's important for me, and like I said, it's also environmental. I didn't Asians. I had some Caucasians, you know, going to church and school, but I always identified with my Blackness, you know, and then it's also who you are. Like me, I was in foster homes all my life. I want family. I want Black family. So it's all on experience. And I'll piggyback on that. 20 years to leave, honey, it don't take that long. If you know you don't want to be with her or him, you don't have to cheat. Just leave. And if it's going to take a while, come up with a plan and leave. But don't leech off one another for sex or convenience for 5 to 6 to 7 years. I don't care if there's children involved, because it's unhealthy for you and the children to be in something that you don't want to be.
Yeah, I agree. I want to actually respond to Lance's last question when you said, does the pool changes? It just changed for men and women. When you look at a dating pool, generally men always have a much larger range than women have ever had. Women, I mean, cougars just became hot like in the recent years. You never really saw 20-year-old dudes dating 50-year-old women. That just was never a thing. But you've always seen 20-year-old women dating 50-year-old men. That's never been a thing. Even back when you can go back to Elvis Presley, and I mean, you can go back to beyond and beyond. I mean, even when my mother grew up, who was in her 80s, women at that time was 15, 16, 17 dating 40-year-old men. So that's always been, you know, a range. And so men at 40, you still got a range from 20 to 70. Women at 40, your range doesn't swing that wide, you know, unless you just happen to have some men that are into that. And there's a small group of men, but generally, I know my son 22, he not feeling no 50-year-old woman. He just not, he ain't with that. So it just depends. So I wanted to answer that piece first. And then secondly, the other question, Pablo, I think it's also exposure. Like young lady said, I think that, you know, I'm open. I've dated men of multiple races and backgrounds because I was exposed, you know, where I lived, where I traveled, you know, where I went to college, I went to a PWI, you know, so you're just exposed on a much larger range. And I think unless you're just in environments, you don't have the opportunity to really kick it and connect with sometimes whites, Asians, you know, Scottish, British, whatever that is. So I think it really, you know, depends on exposure. The more you're exposed, you know, the more you'll get to kind of connect with people from other races.
I mean, the only two things I have to say real quick, and I know Lance got to want to say something. I mean, I'm just with your as far as your timeline is when young men were dating older women. Morris Chestnut dated Aretha Franklin. I remember that. You know what I mean? And this is just my age group. I know Tim Robbins was Susan Sarandon. That's an age gap. So I've always known that there were men dating older women, especially if they were fine. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, there's certain women that I always knew there was younger cats I would pine for, and it was like, but you had to play your cards as a man. You had to play your cards extremely different to be on that level. But it was always a goal. I know it was always, when we were younger, it was in the back of my mind. You had that much game where you were on that level, you can go get an older woman. Shit. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So it was just, it was always there. So I just disagree with your, it's never been there. I've always seen it in my lifetime. Like, and I'm not putting age in there. I'm just saying.
There's a name for it. It's never been a thing. That's what I say. You may have had here and there. We've always had, but I'm saying now it's such a popular thing. There's a term for it now. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it never really was a thing before.
Well, it's kind of like he said, because to get a woman of that age when you a young dude, 18 to 22, it's a game thing. You gotta be able to talk. That you're not in the shallow waters no more, young boy. You out there in the tides, you gotta know how to handle yourself. This is a no floaty zone. You know what I mean? So I think that's what held it back, because when you even now, I'm not 18 to 20, but if you're approaching a grown woman, I don't care if she's 5 years older than you, 10 years older than you, it's automatically like, oh, okay, hold on, let me make sure I got my shit together. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with D-Wise. That's a little different. And then also, you said men have a range from 20 to 70, maybe rich men. I don't know no broke brothers that got a range from 20 to 70.
No, I'm gonna disagree with that. I'm gonna agree with that. I ain't gonna put nobody on the podcast, but I ain't gonna call no names, but I'm gonna disagree with that. I'm gonna just leave that down. So you right now, you don't feel you can get a woman that's 55, 60, Lance?
Oh no, I got to have my business together. Like I wouldn't even look at it like that. I'm so focused on business. But
that's because of something but do you think you could step to and involve yourself with a woman right now, 55, 60, not based on your personal limitations, but do you think you could just at your age, where you at, you think you could get a 55, 60-year-old?
Yeah, I don't have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Like we just sat here and said love is love. So yeah, it ain't gonna change now because the numbers involved.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So your range is still there. Now, whether or not you feel confident enough to step to her is one thing, but there's a 55, 60-year-old woman you can step to right now that you can involve yourself with. And there's a 19-year-old you can step to right now and involve yourself with. So what's that range right now? That's about 50 years right there.
Trust me, a lot of my brothers are stepping to the Cougars because that PlayStation, the Xbox came out. So we do what we do to secure the back. I mean,
and the actor, y'all saw she put that picture with that Cuban link in that PS5.
Yeah.
Facts.
Ellen say she got the right bait on her hook.
Okay,
We are not upset with that. I think it was a bottle of Hennessy. You would have saw Lance right next to the sister, like, yo. What's the next topic, baby?
So the next topic are blue collar guys still desirable with the competition of football players, top executive CEOs, lawyer guys. You know, is that regular 9-to-5 hardworking construction guy, security guard, regular blue chef, 9-to-5 hardworking guy still desirable in 2020, or are we just caught up with this whole Instagram, like this guy needs to have a Lamborghini, a Mercedes-Benz, 850 credit score? I ain't saying, brother, I ain't saying that he ain't supposed to, like, he's all jacked up, like bad credit, this and that. We're talking about a regular 9-to-5 guy. Maybe he makes about 40,000 to 50,000 a year, maybe even less than that, maybe a little bit more than that. Are they still desirable? And also too, we'll flip the question around for men to the women.
Charisma, definitely take lead on this one. What's your opinion and all that?
My opinion is pension plan me, please. Health insurance me, please. I'm all for it. And I know all the females that I know that I'm friends with in my circle, my network, people we talk to. I think most of, and I mean, those of you know our network, most of my friends have blue collar husbands, including myself. My husband works at a utility company. So absolutely. Pension plan me, please. That's all I got to say.
JJ Burroughs, what you thinking?
Pablo spoke on like Instagram and social media, and I think in working in content and in marketing, I think Instagram or all these social media platforms, they do very well at packaging this life, that's glamorous, that, I wake up in the morning, my breakfast is beautifully made, I jump into my car, my hair is done, this is just, like a highlight reel. It's not saying this may be someone's life somewhere, but ultimately it's not, it's not real. We do really well at making someone's life look amazing and appealing. But at the end of the day, I know for me personally, I want someone, I have no problem with a blue collar, like Charissa said, I need someone who has like longevity, like what's going to happen. If God forbid you pass or something, we need to have a plan. And I'm saying that anyone who lives these Instagram influencer blogger lifestyles, they don't have that. But I just know for me and my experience, I know when people who have these jobs, it's secured. We know what's going to happen. Something is in place. So that's my take on it.
And can I add something with what Jess said? I think that that highlight reel has put out there that we know, many of us know is not true, but I don't know why we have many people have kind of put in this box that money is, like, I know guys who are plumbers with 2 trucks on the road that bring home over $1 million a year. Like, I don't know if y'all ever had any pipes in your house burst or your AC go out. Like, that stuff ain't cheap, you know? So
Right.
just because someone's doing a particular job doesn't mean they don't have stability or longevity or whatever. And like I said, I think when choosing a mate, that stuff is like, you know, what work you doing? Are you going to work every single day? I think that's the question. Are you stable? Are you disciplined? Are you reliable? Those types of things we're looking at a relationship, because I've been married 18 years. The job he was on when we got married is not the job he's on today, but you will consistently work because you're disciplined, you know? So those are the things I'm looking at. I don't care nothing about the job.
And then definitely, Schardescia, what's your 2 cents on it before we take over and talk about it?
I agree. I wholeheartedly believe in longevity and also connectivity. DY sent me a video of a man criticizing or answering a woman's question because he wanted a certain guy and she had a certain standard. And he was trying to get her to understand that date inside your range, your average date, average guy. And I totally understand what you're saying. The average guy is that plumber or that pool company owner or that paint company owner, also the or McDonald's worker who's a manager. They make money too. I'm not looking for glitz and glams. Okay, I'm not trying to go down the EDD scams and the tax frauds and what we got rappers going to jail now for identity fraud and because they want to be on jets and have cars every week and every month. A lot of guys, a lot of money because I've been there, but I'm around it and I see it as well. There's a lot of options. Just give me in how we say, love is love, love who you love. You elevate each other, you grow. It's so much you can do with two than one with a whole lot of money and you got to submit to them. I did that with my first husband. Give me somebody who got a nice, decent job, like Charisma say, pension plan me, let's go, let's grow. Charisma said, her husband don't have the same job he had when they met. You always grow and elevate. That quick, fast life, that's not for me. No Insta.
So now that we know what I'm saying, I'm gonna say my 2 cents on it as far as men towards women. I'm gonna take a sidestep, little sidestep, talk about this. I feel like men don't care. I mean, that's just me, just my opinion. I don't care. Like, I really don't care what you're doing, how you get down. You feel what I'm saying? I want it to be legit. I don't want the feds come knocking in my door when I'm sleeping. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that I don't want. I don't want a risk where, like, you know, I have to always be strapped because you was doing some bullshit in the streets and people are looking for you. I don't want that. But, you know, I don't, you know, I'm gonna love who I love. If you was you wasn't working at my McDonald's 9 to 5, you moved up from the register to the manager because that's what was in your plan, or you was in the corporate side, you know what I mean, or you're about to be a doctor, whatever it is, that's never, I feel like that's not on a man's mind. We look at, I mean, everyone's got to be real. First you look at someone physically, and if you're attracted to them, then you get to know them, see what the mind's like and all the other stuff, and it goes from there. But as far as like, oh, what do you do? Unless she's doing something that you feel morally against, which everyone's moral standards is different. Like some people are like, oh, I've dated strippers my whole life. And that's what it is. Some people more like, yeah, I have fun with strippers, but I don't want to come home with you. Whatever your morals is, that might be different. Moral might be, you're this religion, like, oh, you're Muslim, I kind of can't vibe with how you get down. Or whatever that moral thing is, that's more important to us than actually what's in your bank account and what you're doing. But the reason why I said I wanted to side note is because I feel like as a man, like, if I got all the bread, if I'm making all the bacon, you feel what I'm saying? And I elevate you up to another level. I put you in things that you couldn't pronounce. Like, you know, my boy OJ said in the song, I gave you things that you couldn't even pronounce. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I put that meat coat on you. I did all this. So if I elevated you, it's all good. It seemed that, oh, I'm a man. I was supposed to do that. I'm supposed to take care of my woman in the home and everything like that. But I feel like on the other end, if you meet a guy and his shit's not together, you're not even gonna get through, he won't even get through that door with you. And it's looked very, very poorly on women if you try to elevate them. Because, you know, I may see potential in you, or I just, you know, care about you, and we're gonna grow. And, you know, we wanna grow organically. But I feel like when the shoe's on the other foot, oh, nah, that nigga ain't got shit. I ain't gonna fuck with him. Why would I waste my time? And I believe that's what's out there in society.
Yo, so my take is pretty much the same as yours, yo. Like, men don't care. We don't care. You feel me? I think we care what you want to do. You feel me? Like, I want to make sure that my woman's fulfilled. That she's like, man, you know, I want to be that top realtor. You know, I want to make a name for myself. I want to be somebody in life. Then we're obviously there to support them, you know. But like, men don't really care like what you do for a living. Like, if they took a notice in you, like they vibe with you. You feel me? They want to make you. They want to, you know, if a man really loves you, they're gonna want to spoil you. They're gonna want to do stuff for you. They're gonna want to go out their way. But well, one thing I do want to say, some men we feel like you know, the relationship is based on conditions. Like, you only love me based on this condition that I could provide for you, if I could do this for you and whatever. And you know, sometimes in life you may go through like this pandemic right now, and it's like, yo, you may have worked, you know, 20 years of your marriage, but right now you on unemployment and the unemployment dried up and this and that, and now you're seeing, oh, so this is how you act when I don't have enough money, even though I provided for you some type of way. And I feel like, men, we don't act like that. But like, man, we'll be in a cardboard box together, but at least we're together. And I feel like maybe women sometimes they may get emotional, and everything is condition based. And you know, like, you know, they said women and children are loved unconditionally, but man, I personally feel like I have to, you know, maybe do something to always be providing, you know, a roof over your head and this and that, whatever. Which that's what a man's supposed to do. But you know, like, the love feels condition based. At least that's the way I feel.
Yeah,
I know you probably can.
Jackson said the best. What have you done for me lately? I feel like that's the narrative sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Lance, what you feel?
Well, I definitely agree with that last point. Ain't no man loved just because he's a great guy, and that's absurd. So well, that's absurd. So I don't know. I'm grown. I've been in relationships. I've never seen a dude that sat around his woman's house and was anything but disrespected. I've never seen a dude that was on. Well, I'm not gonna say never, because dudes could have it together and look like the greatest thing going, because he can provide this. He can get you caught up in the little romantic stuff. Flowers ain't nothing. When I'm saying, buy an $80 bouquet when you got it. $80 bouquet ain't the same thing to a brother that ain't just throwing away money. So I feel like for a man, you have to be secure in yourself. I don't want to even say unwritten rule, but they tell, for the most part, I've heard dudes, listen, if your life ain't together financially, you don't even got no business dating.
100%.
If you ain't got no car where you could roll up to your girl house, and when it's raining outside, put the umbrella over her head and usher her into your car, bro, you probably need to lower your standards, because you all know growing up, there were girls that would tell you straight out, I'm not dating no dude without no car. What do I look like? You know what I'm saying? So I know this: the leading things in divorce are lack of money and lack of time. A blue collar brother trying to build, he got to use a lot of time in order to build. If you got the wrong partner that's not on the same page as you, looking at it like, yo, the brother building, it could pay off in 20 years. You gonna sit there and look like Angela Bassett talking about, oh, I invested in him, and oh my God. And no, you loved the man. You loved him and you followed his plan. It's not like you were treated like a slave or you were kept in the dungeon. And we literally just talked about it. You know what I'm saying? So there's also not being able to provide for your woman. Your girl, she can tell you whatever she wants you. Yo, baby, it's okay. Oh, baby, mwah, mwah, mwah. Man, you gonna turn around, and as a man, if you a real man and carry yourself as a man, you gonna feel a giant hole in your chest. Like, damn, I ain't able to provide. It don't matter what your job is. It don't matter how it's been, how much I've done in the past. That's always gonna eat you up. And men that can't do either one of those things, you already know you're not gonna look too appealing to the opposite sex. So blue collar brothers, Unless you really got it going on, I don't think they in style right now, from what I'm seeing.
In a big city, a small city, a nice area, not the specific name, but like, because you say you don't see it, so maybe it's your environment, maybe, or your friends are maybe more high end. Because I see it.
And I was going to say also, you know, when you are looking at the type of woman that you are attracting, you got to look at the bait you putting out there. You know, I've, you know, before I got married, you know, we're out, and even when I go out now with single friends and we're hanging out, we're socializing, you have dudes that will come up to you, approaching you with what they have, holding a car key in their hand, holding it, because you're throwing out a bait of what I have. They will lead with name dropping, where I work. I'm the so-and-so at the this and the that. When you drop that bait, you know what you're finna catch. And so you can't catch that type of fish and then complain that when you don't have your job anymore, they're not there with you. That's the bait you put out to catch that woman. And so I'm telling you, from my blue collar husband and the rest of the guys, we didn't lead. It was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? So we talked. He didn't lead with that stuff. He didn't lead with, I got this money, I got this here, I got this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Because when you put that bait out, you're going to attract women that are looking for that. Those type of women are not in it for the dips in the relationship. Let me tell you, in 18 years, he's been employed, unemployed, underemployed, overemployed. I mean, we done went through all of that. And never once did I, let me go, nothing, never. We in this, we locked in this, locked and loaded for life. And so it doesn't matter how that, goes, but that wasn't the bait he used. So I'm just saying, sometimes dudes got to be careful of the bait you putting out there. When you stepping up to a woman and you talking about your new car you got and your new ride and all the rappers you hang out with and all the places you go, honey, I just got off this boat from da-da-da. You are looking to attract a female that is important to. So when you catch her in there, don't try to now, I'm doing bad, because you already know what kind of fish you got. So that's, you can't get no high maintenance, fish that's looking for a certain type of food and you can't maintain it. And now you're mad with them, so that's just the other side of that.
Lance, what's the response? You gotta get his error.
I want to agree. I'm gonna say like that. No. That's why I said I'm gonna say I want to agree. But as a man, all right, fine. I've used this approach before, whatever. When I use that approach, it's only to show that I'm secure in my own financial situation, and this goes somewhere. I have resources to invest in you, which allows me to invest in us, because that's all it is. You're saying that I'm here, I can provide a certain lifestyle for you. You know what I'm saying? And then there's also the situation where you make it. The blue collar guy does make it. They're rich and successful. But then when it does go bad, the millionaires get divorced because they get used to a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So I said I want to agree with you, but okay, I'll go 50-50 for that one.
But Lance, you know what? Listen, a guy like you don't even have to lead with that. That's a cherry on top. Because right. a woman that brings her piece to the table, you ain't really got to tell me you're going to take, because I feel that when we got that vibe, when we got that bond, I'm going to look out for you just like you're going to look out for me. We know that. So that's, what's understood don't even have to be explained. So I just feel like you don't have to lead with that, because that's the risk you run. If you lead with that, because I understand you're trying to communicate one thing, but for the piranhas, those antennas go up. Them helpers like, hey, okay, he got, hey, all right, I got a little daddy over here. He got, they texting their homegirls and everything. So I just say you run that risk when you lead with that. That's all I'm saying,
And I know for me, like, I'm all about action. So I know when I was dating and people would come up to me and they lead, to me, that was just a turn off. I'd be like, all right, if they coming up to me, they tell me they got this, they got that. Off the bat, I'm just like, something's going to go wrong, because like, what if you don't have it? And for whatever reason, like, you did have these things when we started and something happened, I'll be like, you know, why did you like say, I just feel like you're trying to set me up for something, or not even set me up, like you're trying to overcompensate for something. It's like, we're not even there yet. I just want to know who you are, you know, what you like, you know, what you like to do, you know, what's your hobbies. So, and then I can see your character, you know, and your actions later down the line, like, okay, this guy, he does this, he's financially savvy, you know, I can just see in your moves and, you know, your daily operations, how all that stuff to me will play out.
You got to come in like the Princess Zamunda. You got to pretend you at McDonald's and you really the king. I mean,
did you see how much begging that man did? I ain't got time for that. Oh, do you need me to mop the floor? Oh no, it's okay, Akeem. Oh, how about the trash? What?
He only did that because he wanted.
This is what I mean, ladies. This is a perfect example. Like you say, hey, how you doing, Ma? She gave you the smile, but she keep walking down the block. I ain't Michael Johnson.
She liked him. Her daddy was the gold digger.
Right.
She liked him for who it was. Her daddy that was the gold digger.
But you see, his point was, you see, he had to create this image just to find the right one. He couldn't be normal. He couldn't be himself. That's his point. He had to, I'm going to go to Queens. And then I need to make everyone believe that I am poor. So I know she loves me for me and not my money. Already, I had to set up an alternate persona. That's not who I am. I am royalty. I've seen more money. I've not even thought about how much money I have. And you wish you could get to what's in my saving account. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just his point. He was more saying, like, he had to create this whole persona, make sure he went to the worst neighborhood in Queens, make sure he had Roach and Field apartment. He had them do all this just to find love, where we feel like the opposites don't have to do any of that. You feel what I'm saying?
That's true. That's the world we live in. I mean, sometimes you just never know. If you meet somebody, once you already have that, it's hard to tell what their intentions are. I mean, I have friends that are pro athletes, the same thing. They're like, if I wasn't already rocking with her before I got to this, it's hard to gauge someone's intentions because you just really don't know.
And clear difference too, like, and I've been around athletes too, and you know, another thing, you can tell and it's just this simple. You can tell if the athlete's been with his woman before he made it or if he got with her after. It's noticeable. I'm not looking for nobody. You love who you love, but I can tell you right now, you can put 100 athletes in here, and I can be like, met before, after. You know what I mean? It's just, that's a fact.
That's fact.
What's next, DJ Pablo McAfee? Oh, anybody else got anything to say before we move on? Cool.
All right, so are gender roles important in a relationship? Do, you know, the woman have to just only cook and clean and stay home and raise kids, or, you know, could she go out and the guy stay home and he cooks and cleans and raises the kids, or, you know, should she change the motor oil and, you know, or vice versa, you know? So are gender roles important?
So for this one, I'm gonna have the Kings answer this one, and the Queens, please come back and follow. Lance, start off with it, man. What's your feeling on it?
Gender roles are traditional unless they're convenient. You know what I'm saying? Like, the men do what the men do, and the ladies do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's brothers that cook, there's ladies that cook. So I don't think they matter anymore, just because there are men that cook, there's women that go out and make a living, there's men that stay home, there's women that stay home. It's more likely that, in my experience, that a woman is the housewife and all that, but I don't know. Everything's changing in this world. Hey, just be prepared to grow and be water, my friend, as Bruce Lee said. Because you damn sure don't want to start no argument and lose your relationship of who taking the damn trash out tonight. Say, listen, I know I'm the man, goddammit, but you can take it out. Equality. It's not a quality fight. It's not necessary. So it is what it is.
I'll say it's becoming less and less important because maybe it's the society we're living in. But it's still important because maybe individually we might not say it's important, but I guarantee you this, and I haven't heard a lot of it though, like if there's a stay-at-home husband, and I'll say this, when they're stay-at-home husbands, even though there's not a lot of them, they're on point. cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, make sure the kids get to school on time, everything like that. They know suckers. Like, you know, in society, when they step outside, they might get made fun of, but they take care of business in the house. I haven't heard any women desire that. Like a Topics Ever girl, like, girl, if I can get a man that just cook, clean everything, and I just go get this paper, you know what I'm saying? I'm in there. That's not talked about. I feel like that's a conversation men may have. I say certain things, especially now, I don't want, like, I have a daughter. I want her to be strong in all aspects. I want her to know how to change a tire. I want her to know how to do an oil change. I want her to know the things that are male things to do. So that way a man can't just do some simple, easy stage one shit. And she's like, oh, I think I love him. Like, man, all that nigga did was change a tire. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So let's, like, you know what I'm saying? I want her to be built of, there's no roles, there's no more sex roles as far as what you could do, because I feel like when you put yourself in that mindset, this is what a man does, this is what a woman does, you lose, or someone can get advantage of you. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why I don't want my daughter to ever go through that. The nigga did just some simple man shit and it impressed her. You feel what I'm saying? So I think for raising my daughter, I definitely want to trash that out. Certain things I prefer her not to do, I still will say the phrases, that's not ladylike, and you know what I mean? And that's like not man-like, so I'm saying. So I believe in certain things are on it, but like the majority of stuff, and the times when I really feel that the sex roles need to get like thrown out of there. Certain things I won't budge on, I'll admit that, but certain roles, I'm just like, nah, don't be easily impressed that for, you know, instant, like, you know, if I had a son, don't be easily impressed that this woman made you SpaghettiOs. You know what I mean? When you can go out there and I taught you how to make homemade pasta with your own sauce, with your own cheese and gravy and everything. Like, don't be easily impressed as a man that a lady, you know, cooked something and all she really did was use it in the microwave, so it's a hot meal. You feel what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, let me ask you a question really quick. What if that's all London wants? What if that's all she wants is a man that does that? Or what if your son, all he wants is a woman that does that? Is that not? Because we say that, you know, but then it's like parents are creating these gender roles for our children. So what if your son, all he wants is a woman that cooks spaghetti? Is that not okay for you?
If that's all he wants, that's fine. I just don't want, I'm just talking about being impressed by, like, women are not cooking, right? Like in general, like, oh, women aren't cooking because they got careers, they're doing things, they're doing well, executives. So that's kind of going away. The whole home and careers era, when you learn how to do things, is going away. I just don't want the person to be easily impressed by it. If they love they got the best pasta out there and they make it, it was cool, I accept that. I just wanted them, if she's like, Dad, I make enough money where I don't need anybody financially, and he just cooks the best pasta, cool. I don't want him to, but like my instance, I don't want the homeboy to put SpaghettiOs in the bowl and she's like, yes. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference.
I get it, the value of him more than SpaghettiOs.
I like gender responsibilities personally. I'm a little more traditional probably than most. So we have, even though I am a 3-time business owner and I do a lot, we still have pretty traditional roles in our home. So I do the cooking and cleaning and all those things, but that's just, it's comfortable for me. I like that. I like traditional kind of, I grew up that way. And so I just, that works for me. But I am just one of those, I'm not all homes have to do the same thing. I have colleagues and friends who have stay-at-home husbands because they're really high-performing women and they want someone, you know, when I'm home, you know, just a partner, somebody to love on or whatever, that's what they want. And I'm all for that too. And so I don't have I just think whatever works for you in your home, you know, you just build a life that works for you all. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody in here but me and him. So it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. It doesn't have to appeal to anyone else. This works for us. I'm not taking out the trash on any day of the week, Monday through Sunday at all. And I'm not, and it will sit there because I'm not, and I'm not going to, and I mean, it's different. He's right. He's down or, you know, he's in bed sick for a week or something. Okay, then I'll hop in. But in terms of our house and what we agreed to, we have some very traditional, I'm not changing oil. I don't even know how to, and I'm not learning how to. I'm not changing tires or any of those things. That's just me. That doesn't work for me, but I'm okay. I'll clean, I'll wash, I'll do those things because I just grew up with that and I'm comfortable with that. So if a man wants that from me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And I still work and still make money and do all that other stuff too, but That just works for us.
Big time.
Growing up for me, traditional roles was in our house, but not really because it was just girls. So I had to cut grass. I had to climb the roof to help do all of that. So that made me strong. We had to take out the trash. But then when I got married, I enjoyed the tradition of taking care of the children, being a stay-at-home mom while he worked. However, go by experience, that didn't work out for me because I got down here while he's up here taking care of everything, even though I'm cooking and cleaning. So now I'm at the point where I'm on my own after him and I have to do everything myself because now I'm divorced. And so when you learn that over the years and then you start dating again, some men take advantage of that because they see that you're so strong and you're so busy and I can take out the trash. I can do that because that's something that I'm used to. However, rewind, can you cook a little bit? Can you take out the trash more often than none? Because there's some men who don't know what tradition is. There's some men who didn't grow up in that household, so they will never know about a role of a man, woman, or a role of a man. But you have people like us who know and understand it, but you also have experience that make you say, I can do this. But then when you do it and you get a weak-minded man who allows you so much on your own, like changes that, without to pump the gas, you start realizing the value of you. And then you want to be a little bit for me as a woman. I'm not trying to be out there looking like Superman. So let me be a lady.
Absolutely.
Right, I want to be a lady.
Burroughs said her piece. I didn't know how important it was to take out the trash until I listened to you queens. Damn.
Facts, bro. You better learn, and you better learn how to wash dishes too, bro.
Oh, I mean, that was simple because we was doing that as kids, or I was blessed enough.
That's a fact. That's
you know
a
what I mean?
fact.
But I didn't know women view taking out trash so high. Like like you know what I'm saying? Like Schardescia said, I ain't taking out the trash Sunday through Saturday. I was like, oh damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and then when she was talking about, when Schardescia was talking about, the things that man did for her, trash was on the top 3 of the list. I was like, shit, this is important. So, you know what I mean? So I better always make sure I get the flex garbage bags that hold a lot and just take it out when it's time. JJ Burroughs, please, what's your opinion on it?
For me, growing up, I was raised by a single mother and she was everything. And she was very strong. So now that I'm married, there, like Schardescia said, there were some things that I just learned to do everything. But now that I'm married, there are some things I had to unlearn because now having a family, because that wasn't model, my dad wasn't in my life. I didn't see that model figure. So I wanted that for my family, for my daughter, for my children. So I thought it was, to me, it's important for those roles or responsibilities. I think it should be there. And I know when I was dating, that was something that was important for me. I wanted a guy who was going to be a provider in things that I wasn't. I'm not too fat. I'm terrible with money. Like I want to buy everything. So I know when I was dating, like, not that all guys are financially responsible. But I know for me, I wanted someone who'd be provider, somebody responsible, somebody was, smart, so to me, and who took care of home. So that's what I needed.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you just said that, my mother was also a single mother, but I thought about it as we were raised. My brother never washed dishes and the girls never took out trash. Like, she raised us with very traditional, of like gender roles as we got up. And it's interesting because I mimic that with my own children. Like, my son doesn't wash dishes. My daughter doesn't take out trash. I mean, I don't know. I just think we just mimicked it. I think we just, taught and passed on what we learned. So I think it was comfortable for me because I just grew up that way.
I think it's all circumstance from listening to all you sisters and brothers talk. Because like I had 3 older brothers and 1 younger sister. She's the youngest and the only girl. So of course, my pop's like, if I come home, there better not be one damn dirty dish in there. I've been working on. So like, who was gonna wash it? We couldn't be like, well, we gotta wait for our baby sister to. Nah, that wasn't gonna happen. You feel what I'm saying? She's the youngest and the baby. So our circumstance made us like, we learned how to wash dishes. Like, it was what it was. And I'm sure if they were like, Schardescia said there was only girls in there, so she probably learned how to change the tire up in one flat or how to take out the track. Like that was in her, her programming. Like that was there. That's what they had to do. So it sounds like a lot of it's just a circumstance that you came up with.
Changing the tire.
I mean,
that's why we have AAA and Geico roadside assistance. I'm not changing no one's tire.
I believe it's just something that it was like, maybe it was just a man thing. Like, it was just like, this is how you do it. And it's not hard. So it's like, okay, so pop. Now, don't get twisted. I love that there's AAA. What'd you say?
I don't care if it was a 1, 2, 3. It's not happening.
Psychologically, I think I'm just less inclined to do things dirty. Like trash to me is dirty. Cars are dirty. Things like that. I'm just really feminine and girly, and I'm just not doing things that involve dirty tasks. Like I'm just not. The dishes is about as dirty as it's getting. Like I'm not.
I don't know. My mother from young, I do laundry. I do cook. I wash dishes. I do everything. My mama told me like 10 years old, boy, your jeans is too big. I'm tired of washing them. At about 13 years old, like, boy, you gotta eat every night. You better learn how to cook. So yeah, I basically covered all my bases. Mom made sure that I take care of myself at a very young age.
Facts. It was independence. You know what I mean? That like I fold I fold clothes when we do laundry. My wife can't stand folding clothes. That's like the devil to her. I don't know why. So it's like, I'm just like, it was just something there. Like, and then my grandmother, like when, when she did laundry, like, fold your clothes, boy, hang them up, boy. Like, it was just like, okay. It wasn't considered like, this is like a woman's work. Grandma, why don't you do it? I wouldn't dare. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I accepted it. Problematic. What's the next topic? Unless anybody else has anything else to say.
Damn, I didn't get to even cover my part of the topic. But
oh, my bad. My bad, host. My bad, host. Now, what's up, though? Please, I definitely want to hear your 2 cents. I already know it's going to come.
Yeah, just real quick, man. Yo, we're in 2020. The whole road thing is like, you may be single for the rest of your life. You feel me? So you probably got to learn how to do everything yourself anyways. You feel me? Because the way marriage and relationships and, I already heard, like, it seems like everybody seemed to be in a single parent household, which, I was raised by several different people. I was raised by my grandmother at one point, friends of the family at one point, by my aunt by one point. So, I know how to cook. Like, and when I say I know how to cook, like we're talking about, we chopping up the onions, the garlic, the scallion, curry goat, rice and peas, fish, all that stuff. Like we going in. So
beef.
Yeah, people know that I go in like on the whole cooking thing. You feel me? But I'm a provider. You feel me? I work 16 hours a day sometimes, and also trying to be a full-time parent at the same time. You feel me? So I know when it comes to like, if I was an at-home father, man, I think I'll be the best because like I do my daughter's hair when I drop her off at preschool. They're like, who does her hair? I'm like, I do her hair. They're like, no. You feel me? They super shocked. You feel me? So it makes me feel good. Oh, hey, Bobby, you did her hair? I'm like, yeah, like, oh my God, no, not the other fathers could do this. You feel me? And no matter how tired that I am, I always dedicate myself to my daughter. People know, like, I got videos of my daughter when she's just like 7 months old. We doing hand-eye coordination. You feel me? So I feel like, sometimes it may be beneficial for the male to be in the household because some women, they want to go out there and get it. Like, my girl, she doesn't want somebody to have, power over them as in like, hey, look, you're making all the money. You don't want to be in a relationship that you can't afford to leave. You feel me? So some people are in a relationship, they can't afford to leave that relationship. Like, oh, it's cheaper to keep her and this and that and all this other stuff. And then it's like, they may want to leave. Like I got a friend, he doesn't want his girl to work. His girl never works. But at the same time, he controls a card to her and is like, okay, you're going to the store, I'm gonna unlock the card so you can buy something. And you want to have your own money so you could do something. Like, that's to me extreme. You feel me? Because you're making all the money, you could do stuff like that. And I don't think that's cool. But like, the role reversals or whatever, or relationships are different. Maybe something for you is like, I don't want to be the one taking out the trash. Like, you take out the trash. But when it comes to like my relationship, I'm like, I did my part. Like, I can pretty damn near almost build a damn house. Like, put up the backsplash, put in the floors, cut the lawn. Today I wash dishes. I wash pots and pans. I don't like doing forks and stuff. That shit just takes forever. And I'm a hand washer. You feel me? That shit just forever, man. I start with the pots first, knock them out the way, get the dishes or whatever. I love to cook. You feel me? We cooking all that real shit over here. You feel me? All the island stuff. You feel me? Clean out the shed today, take out the trash, take my daughter with me everywhere we go. We gonna read a book for nap time. We're gonna work on your English. We're gonna work on your Spanish. We gonna put creative stuff on the TV. And we're going to be learning. So, sometimes there is great at-home fathers, you feel me? And I feel like I'm one of them, not just to brag, but, one thing that used to make me feel good, like sometimes people see me in public because they see my my Instagram. They're like, yo, dog, like you and your daughter got like the best relationship, you feel me? And my daughter's only 3 years old. I push her in tennis. Hopefully she'll be that tennis star, you feel me? But I'll be going hard, son. Like I'll be going real hard. All right, on to the next topic. Let me see what it is right now. Emasculation of men. So
especially the black man. Yeah, that was a good one.
It's gotta be the black man. It can just be men. You feel me?
It's mostly the black man.
And we can cover this
mostly the black man.
From relationships and also from media, TV, Hollywood standpoint, like, also too about maybe like how they like to have men in dresses or being more feminine than whatever, or not as manly. And also too, as in relationships, sometimes, we get into arguments or we're not seeing eye to eye with our spouse, and there may be some type of disrespect or put down or whatever, or maybe you make more money than me or whatever like that. So you feel you could talk to me some type of way. I don't know who wants to go into this first, who wants to cover it first.
Schardescia, if you would be so kind, knock this out the park, in your opinion.
Actually, I was about to ask a question a second ago because it was interesting as we segue into the topic when you said emasculation of man. Let me ask you just really quickly, could either of the three of you gentlemen be a stay-at-home husband?
I could. I would love to.
No, could you?
Could you
stay home?
Ego take
you do not work. Your wife works, and you do, because I know a minute ago you said, Daryl, you said it's not popular. Lance, you were like, but it's something in you as a man, and you're not providing. And you led with that a minute ago, Pablo. You was like, I'm a provider. So I'm asking, could you even do it? Could you be a stay-at-home husband?
As a man, like you have that thing in you that you're supposed to be the provider. I feel like that's probably the way that we're probably programmed and built, that we're the provider, So,
no.
I would love to, for like, say, an at-home business to be running as in a way like you're but if just to be home, my woman making everything and me not making
you with your daughter, you cooking, cleaning that good, Caribbean food, you cooking your daughter, that's it.
No, it wouldn't work for me because I gotta have my own money, I guess.
Okay, Daryl, could you do it?
That's a good question. I believe I could do anything I put my mind to. So I believe, yes, I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being that straight. Like, I don't think there's no wall that I cannot get through if I put my mind to it. That's just the way I am. The question always in the head, I was like, if my wife was like, listen, money's not a problem no more. You know what I mean? I just did a stock or invested in something. My business to a point where I sold it. And we're the new Jeff, we're the black Jeff Bezos over here. We ain't gotta worry about nothing. Or whatever it is. Or she's like, no, I'm gonna continue getting it. I'm so busy, could you? If she would ask me, could you stay home, hang up your stuff, or, whatever. If that was on the table, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just the best way to answer it. Like, and it goes with trust. Like, I know worrying, like, damn, I don't have my own. But if I love and trust my wife, I know that everything's good. You feel me? And like, I'm still gonna play my role because staying at home still might mean I got to balance the checking account or whatever I gotta do. Certain things that still have to be taken care of. But if I had to be like, I'm staying at home, I have my daughter, I gotta do everything full time, whatever, because that's what the options were. That's what it's gonna be. I believe I can do it.
Okay, Lance.
Yes, I could do it. Because wait, I'm
only laughing because you were laughing. Ain't nothing to do with disrespect, fam. I just laughed because you laughed.
All right, because here's my thing. All right, I could do it understanding the value of it. But it's all based on the relationship. It like the relationship has to be pure, it has to be loving, it has to be respectful. Because if we're oh God, this is crazy. If you're literally gonna switch traditional roles, I'm gonna need to have, I'm gonna be that kid like playing football. I need you in my ear every day, coach. Yo, I love you. You're so important. That's how big of a shock to my ego that kind of situation would be. And I don't know that a woman making that much money and whose caliber would be that high and be exposed to the things that she would be exposed to would be interested in having to always pep me up and remind me of my importance for me to flourish in the role of a stay-at-home parent. So I could do it, but it's all about that partnership. Because the first you broke bum, you old daddy daycare brother, the first one of those, I might flip my shit. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, because I feel like any man, that's a bomb that way. Like if your woman would come to you like, nigga, I paid for this. Shut the fuck up. I took care of the bills. Like if she ever got mad, she took it there. How I was raised, that'd be like a bomb where I'd be like, yo, like something in the back of me told me not to do this. You know what I'm saying? But I accepted it because I loved you and the trust was there. But I feel like she could always have that trump card. And she never used it. And like Lance said, I love you, this and that. I'm sure she could make that little monster in the back of my mind go away with time and showing dedication and love. But that's something devastating for a woman to do that shit to you. Why don't you get the fuck out of my house? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh.
So, and I was asking that because I think that, you know, when Pablo mentioned about the relationship and about, you know, maybe something she said that emasculated, you know, you or whatever. I think majority of that in terms of conversations between men and women in that way is really in a man's head. It's just because you are naturally wired a certain way, you think a certain way. And when you are not in the position of, I make the most money, I'm responsible for this house we live in, or I'm whatever. Whenever you're not, I think there's a little voice in the back of your head that's always filtering everything that comes out of this woman's mouth to you. Because I think it's just so countercultural and it's so counter to how you are made that you just sometimes perceive things that way. Because I've heard discussions, you know, again, I have a great peer group of really high performing women. And I've heard discussions or arguments and things between relationships where she's like, well, I was just asking about this or with that. But I think that filter, whenever there's like that disparity that way in income, I just think because all of y'all are like, oh, I could, like they would have to beat you across the head. Amazing.
It's kind of like convincing.
I mean, it was Oprah money, baby. You know, it was just like.
Yeah, shit. Oprah, I shut the hell up for Oprah now.
Oh, yeah. Oprah told me shut the fuck up, and I'm like,
what you said? Keep it down? Oh, okay.
Telling my friends, like, you gonna fuck up what I got going on here, man. Like, yo, y'all gotta be out by 8. I gotta get the cash roll done by, you know, at least 8:30. So I gotta rub her feet at 9. Y'all bugging. Like, no pressure. Stedman got it easy. But no, like, I agree with that. There's that little thing in your mind. Because even, I don't think a man has that trump card for a woman. Like, I pay for all this. It might hurt her pride, but she could be like, well, you're supposed to take care of shit. And she's out that hole. You know what I'm saying? If I were to say on the vice versa, if it happened to me, there's no bounce back from it. Even if it hurts, it's gonna sting, and I have to sit on it. You know what I mean?
And let's be real, you could pay all the bills, you still ain't the boss.
Facts.
You pay all the bills, you be in there mumbling, what you say? Oh, nothing, honey. I did a dirty dish right here, that's all. You don't want no smoke, you know what I mean? So it ain't the same. Now give that power with the money on top of it. The right partner, that could be a scary situation. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah, the key is the right partner. And I mean, I think everything we're talking about in relationships, the key in all of it is the right partner. You have to be with the right partner for you. you know, and I think that, you know, oftentimes, like I say, and you brought that up, I thought about it because I know that conversation I've heard a lot in relationships, because like I said, I have a peer network of high performing women, and I've heard that conversation a lot in terms of, you know, I wasn't even saying it that way, or, you know, oh, I bought this, or I did, you know, something, oh, this happened. And sometimes feeling like they're not those things, you know, just the way they're perceived in a relationship. I think it's just because of that little filter, because naturally men are just wired to be in that seat. Yeah. And it's uncomfortable to not be in it.
We got 2 more topics. We'll just, because that was a good conversation. It led to good things. Paul Magna, did you want to say anything, or you were done with your piece?
No, I'm pretty much done with what I had to say there.
All right.
I feel like the conversation is going, you know, pretty well.
Yeah, it's very organic. I love it.
Touch a whole bunch of other things too, but damn, this shit will never end.
Yeah. Touch on. If we don't get to the other one, I understand, because it's getting, you know, time is getting later and later. If you guys got to go, I understand. But I definitely feel like we got to touch on. We have 2 more things. We definitely got to talk about the restaurant thing. What was that about?
Yeah, so basically, there's a video that went viral this week. It was at True Kitchens in Dallas, Texas. Women were there eating, you know, I don't know if it was a brunch or something like that, but then they started twerking. So the owner of the establishment went and basically told them off, like, hey, look, I worked very hard to have this high-end establishment for our people, for our culture to go to, and this is not a place that, you know, women should be twerking. I want respectable women and men to come here for a place, you know, for them to eat and have a place for their own. You know, he did use a little bit of profanity. He was very hot and livid. You know, my question to the panel right now, do you think he was out of line? Do you think he was right for what he had to say? Maybe he should have said it in a different way. So go ahead, what's your take?
Whoever wants to touch on it.
I wasn't sure on how he marketed it, but I did hear like it was a trap brunch. So I just know in my experience, when I hear trap brunch, like it's gonna be lit. Like that's gonna be given that I can twerk, I can do this. Like it's gonna be bottomless mimosas. Like we gonna get drunk. So you know, to me, when I hear trap brunch, not that anybody who goes there and does those things are inappropriate or they would be any less, but to me, I would think trap brunch, I'm thinking I'm gonna have fun. It's Sunday, you know, it's like a day club. So for him to come, when I watched the video, I know they said like he went and spoke to them 3 times. So, you know, I don't know if at that point he should like, you know, I just want you guys, you know, if you don't mind just like, you know, just leaving or escorting yourselves or different things like that. But I just think like his approach and how he spoke to them was just it was a little much, because to me, I think they were enjoying themselves. It didn't seem like any else was bothered. I didn't see them twerking, but I just thought he was a little much. Like, okay, then don't do trap brunch. Then say you're gonna have brunch.
I'm
sorry. And when I saw the establishment, not that it was bad, you know, low class or anything, but I don't know. It just didn't, like, I didn't have this Ruth Chris Houston, you know, type vibe, like, you know, suit and tie, you know. So I'm like, it seemed like a really casual dining, you know, place. So I'm like, he's acting like he was just a little out of line for me.
I'll say 2 things. First thing, if you marketed trap brunch, you invited that. Like we talked about earlier, what bait do you have out there? That Schardescia said that bait was put out there. Trap brunch. That only means one thing. I know it's coming with trap brunch. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a whole good time. People are gonna dance a certain way. That's what comes with your marketing and how you entitled it. So that right there, that's 1 point. So you kind of get what you get. My other thing is the video we saw, that wasn't his first time he came out there. That was 3. He came out there 3 times. We didn't see the first 2 times. We only saw the last time. So I'm gonna be put in his shoes. Marketing, I have to eat that 100%. That's my fault. I have to make sure I do better next time and put the environment that I want in there. That's the first thing. But as the owner of an establishment, if I come out the first time, I'm gonna come out very nice. I know how it is. I've been in charge of events. I've done it before. Hey guys, that's not cool. Please get down. That's not what we're setting up over here. I apologize. If you want to leave or you want me to, cancel your food or whatever because it's not what you thought it was, I'll comp it right away and you can get out of here. I'm sure it was that smooth the first time because that's how we talked the first time. Second time, a little bit more firm. Hey, I already talked to you guys. Please don't do that. This is a problem. Just get out. I just don't want that in this place. You guys are doing it again. I already had to come to you earlier before. Please stop. Third time, I'm cussing everyone the fuck out. You know what I mean? Because I don't spoke. I was Mr. Nice Guy the first time. I was Mr. Firm and Respectful the second time. That don't work for y'all. So now, looking for the nigga here now. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm gonna give it to you because I feel like it's like baseball in life. He didn't have to give him strike 3. He could have been like on strike 2, stop playing and leave. He gave him more than one. He gave him 3 tries. I mean, the third try he had enough. He said what he said. He told the DJ to cut the music, and they continued to do what they were doing. So I don't feel that he was in the wrong after 3 times. If he did it on the first time, I'd be like, yeah, he's kind of buggy. You probably should approach it differently. If he did it the second time, like, maybe a little something different. I get it, but a little something. Third time, he took the gloves off, and I don't see anything wrong with it.
I was going to say too, I think, kind of agree with what Jess said about environment. As a, past twerker, I was just joking. You see my shirt said retired hot girl, so I had a little bit of, but no, seriously, I think that the environment will lend to kind of what people do in it. Even if it wasn't marketed trap brunch. There are certain places you went into, to your point, Jess, certain environments I go in, it's the tablecloth, it's the little stuff. I'm like, this ain't a twerkable environment, There are certain places you go on. And then the music. Like, I can't imagine people twerking to some, so all of that had to lend to kind of what made the people feel like, hey, we can get it down in here, So I don't know what that is, but if he's looking for a different market, again, we're back to that, you have to know your market and you have to know what attracts your market. So you can't be going for high end, the bougie market, but then you throwing out a hip hop DJ, all the drinks on that. You got the flyer with the girls half dressed on the front. Like, you got to know what that bait is going to bring in. So I agree with your statements on that. Secondly, I just say deal with the affected party, because if those group of people that were twerking were the issue, like, cut the cancer out. You ain't got to put the whole body down. And like, if they're the issue, go to them the one time and say, hey, listen, maybe there's some misunderstanding. We thought whatever. I'm going to go ahead and comp your meal. Thank you for, joining us today, but I'm going to ask you to go ahead and leave and just go ahead and cut out the affected party so that they don't incite more twerkers to get popping.
Right.
All you got to do is see one group over there, the next group standing on the chairs, and next thing, you got a whole lit party. But I said, just go ahead and remove that group. You could do it quietly to the side so it doesn't impact and affect everybody else. I'm sure they would have maybe made a scene leaving out, who knows, maybe not. But just go ahead and address that, get it out, and we're done. And now everybody else can enjoy their brunch. But now you have this whole stain on the whole. I feel the same way with sometimes people have one customer service issue and then now they take it and, social media and da. Now people who weren't even involved, I didn't even know twerking was going on. Me and my friends over here talking. Right. Now, what? Now I'm looking at your behavior. You done cussed everybody out. I didn't even see you go over there 2 times. Now I have an opinion of you as the owner. So I just say, go ahead and deal with the affected party. Get them out of there. Let the party keep going.
I hear everything that has been said here, and I just feel it's a lack of accountability. How many times somebody got to say something to you in their establishment before you go, oh, damn, it is his building. Maybe we should relax. I don't care what song came on. Oh, you was twerking. It felt like you should be the only group of people in the restaurant to start twerking. Fine. Don't make no sense to me. Read the room. But the brother came over there and he spoke to you. Okay, that didn't work. The brother got loud. To me, if I'm a customer, I appreciate the restaurant, the owner coming out there and making that scene. Because I'm looking at him like, oh, okay, brother not playing out here. Oh, he's standing for something. He not worried about, oh, that booty shaking table. He said, I'm good. I'll read your money. That's one less table. He probably got reservation ready to fill a table. But when we go into the environment and we speak about the music, I don't care what music was on. So it sounded like a brother in the corner should have lit up a blunt because it was a trap lunch or a trap brunch. No, it's decorum. He spoke to you. He said, relax. Okay, all right, yeah, it's nice, blah, 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 but we don't want you to do that here. That should have been the end of it. And I feel like we getting lost in too many different other parts of the story. Because I feel like if it had been a brother that lit a blunt in the corner, it only had to be said something one time before people was like, yo, could you believe the audacity of him lighting his weed in the corner? And it would have been a completely different issue. So I feel like it's a lack of accountability by the women there and looking for everybody else to put the blame on. If you saw somebody twerking at any point that you were there, fine. But I ain't seen no video of nobody else twerking. They didn't say nobody was twerking earlier. They didn't say nobody was twerking later. It sounded like one table might have just had a little bit too much fun, which is fine. They probably had a great time. The experience sounded like it's a great time. But how many times does somebody got to ask you not to do something in a professional establishment before you just say, okay, maybe this is not the place to do what I'm doing?
I agree. You don't need to come the multiple times. I think the first time they should have read it, but I'm gonna disagree because with the one piece about, you know, the environment, because, you know, we've all been to a wedding, we've all been to a party, everybody waiting on for that first person to go out and start dancing. It's because everybody wants to dance, but everybody waiting for you've been at the club at 10 o'clock when people tried to get in free, nobody's on the dance floor. Somebody has to go out first and get the party started. So I think they may have read it as, let me get this trap brunch, you know, and they misread it because he didn't really want that. So
I miss trap brunch. COVID to be over.
Anybody else want to cover this before we move on to the next topic, or what? That was it. All right, so I don't know who put this on there, but why do women feel allergic to accountability in a relationship? I kind of have a feeling you put that on there.
Put the name on that.
I got no idea who would put that on the show.
That is crazy that would be on this when we have these queens on this stage.
Like, why would somebody think to do that?
That's your return address on that letter. That's your return address,
right?
I don't even know how to send a letter.
Yeah, well, you know, I feel like when things go wrong in a relationship that it's not working out, I think the guy takes all the blame. Like, you know, I can give you probably a bunch of scenarios, or you probably could think of a few. You feel me? But you know, and you know, I kind of feel it's also hard for women to admit guilt. Like, you know, like they won't apologize for something if they're wrong. They probably fix you a plate of food or something to apologize, and they say actually sorry. You feel me? But from a woman's perspective, we want to know, or somebody wanted to know.
No, you said we want to know collectively.
Yeah, JJ, please let's the mic and tell us your thoughts on that one. How you feel about it? Like, what's the word?
Allergic to accountability. I just know with me personally, I think I have to probably agree with Pablo, or anybody. I just think sometimes pride get in the way and you don't want to admit that you were wrong. I know I have a problem with just, if I'm upset with something, like I just shut down. I don't want to talk about it right now. You know, we can move forward and talk about this at a later date. But just right now, like, I don't want to express anything. I'm not faulting you or me, but I just don't want to talk about this right now. I don't know if it's necessary women, because I've definitely been around, you know, or dated men in the past who, you know, you were wrong. You need to admit it. So I don't know if it, like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily just like a woman thing, but I mean, I guess coming from a male perspective, like, you know, that's what you guys are going to say. But I just think in general, like I've males or females, I just think pride is a huge thing at some point, and no one ever wants to admit that they were wrong.
I think that generally, I think men get the brunt of sometimes the label of, okay, you were the one at fault or you were the one at blame, just because you generally communicate less. Women are generally, and this is a huge generalization, are better with communicating the way they feel. I didn't like that. You made me feel like this. Blah, blah, blah. Men don't. It's like you just let that stuff build up, and then one day be like, you know what? It just ain't, I'm out. So it looks like everything was great up until the end and you just left. Whereas things were not good for a long time, but generally men are not as, forthcoming with, hey, I ain't feeling you with doing that, or I don't like this, or you made me feel this way, or they generally don't communicate like women do. Men generally use fewer words, they just don't communicate. So women assume because you're not saying I'm doing anything wrong, you're not saying anything back to me, that everything is all good. And so one day you just like leaving or cheating or something. They're like, what? We were on our honeymoon and things just, and I don't think it was that. I think things have been wrong for a while. You just weren't as good about communicating it. So I think that's why it can be perceived as you're the one that messed this whole thing up.
Yo, Lance, you got
Lance always with these faces, because rolling to the back of his head on me.
It's because the most important thing is I want to hear you. That's the most important thing, and I want to understand, because like I can only speak from the male point of view, but I know when I hear about a lot of people breaking up, I don't think I've ever heard one female was like, you know what? I was just kind of rough on the guy. He really just is doing his best. And I've never heard that in my life. I've heard a dude work too much. I've heard there's certain standards he don't meet. He didn't respond quick enough. The new thing going around a lot of social media outlets. I don't want a friendly man. If you have access to him, we have access to everybody. It's called Instagram. Like what? And then it be the girls walking around in leggings, half naked all the time, talking about, oh no, not my man. It's like, eyes down, buddy. You better not know anybody. And it's just like, it's a lot to take in if you're receptive to that imagery. Like, yo, you need to make sure that you're always on your A game and happy life, happy wife. I have yet to hear anything about a husband being happy at all. At all. Just, hey man, if your woman happy, you good, bro. That's all you can ask for. She good? Did she eat today? Did she get a little bit off your plate? What's on that fight? You know what I'm saying? So it just don't never really sound like a woman, even in little arguments. You be like, listen, baby, you working my nerves about this today. Oh, but what about last week when I was trying to tell you about? So it's a diversion tactic. It's always another way to go around it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, wait, everything is good. We're good here, right? And it's like, well, you know what? I just didn't know how to tell you. Last week, you said something to me that bothered me so much. And just like that, it's your fault again. Meanwhile, you started the conversation trying to communicate. Now, how many times you gonna have some communication turned around on you before you like, this communication shit, it don't work out for me.
I mean, to his point too, I'll say this, like the way that it's painted and society paints that picture, like he's accurate with that. And then like, I remember, one of my wife's cousins was like, hey man, remember, happy wife, happy life. And me just saying, I said, I believe happy, happy spouse, happy house. And I always looked at the audacity that this man said that. He is selfish. That's what I got looked at. Doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. But the fact that I said that was like, oh, man, I gotta talk to my cousin about that. That man seems selfish already. And that was just something to say, like, we both got to make sure we good. That wasn't acceptable.
Yeah, one more thing. Like, what's up with women always wanting to be in control of like everything? Like, maybe your password to your phone, maybe to know how much you have in your bank account, or the friends you're allowed to be around or not be around, or they plan your weekend, or also too, you know, I heard something once, like no guy ever woke up saying like, hey, I just never wanted to make a decision on my own anymore. And it's like, what's up with women always trying to make decisions for men? Like always, like, oh, this is what we're doing for Thanksgiving, and then we're gonna go do this, and I don't want to see your mom, and da 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 da, and we're gonna have to cut your cousin out because he a bad influence, and then before you know it, you don't know your family anymore.
Well, all I know, we try to give y'all things to do, like a Publix run, or it never goes right. So it's just like, let me just take control and just tell you.
The problem is we in Publix for 20 minutes and you there for 2 hours.
Facts. Right, and then the thing is too, right when I'm getting ready to check out, I'll get a text. Oh, by the way, I really love this wine. Can you get it for me? I'm like, I'm in the car ready to leave. Why didn't you say this at the beginning? I know, I just thought about it.
Y'all be ready to check out because y'all don't worry about the brand. Y'all don't.
Yeah.
Oh, I just grabbed the one by the register. Like, no, that's not the right one. All red wine is not created equal.
We have a grocery list. All you have to do is write it on the grocery list. This last minute remix, fumble, go back. I'm in the parking spot, baby. Could you go back and get it though?
Yeah,
I better, because if I come in the house with that, then there's gonna be an awkward silence of like, what's wrong? Nothing. And I can't read minds at all. That's the other thing. I get on that thing. I'm not great at reading minds, so I'm like, please just whatever it is, tell me, because nothing's gonna go right until we get this out. Well, we'll talk about it later. Okay. Hey, what you want to eat? I don't know. You should know. I'm like,
I like how y'all all keeping it PC. Like Happy Town don't get shut off either.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to the control. I don't believe all women have to be in control of it. There are certain things that I think women are more passionate about being done a certain way or having a certain way, but not like first, I'm not in your password. I'm not getting yours, you're not getting mine. We just not doing it because we have trust. Like I'm not going through your inbox and your DMs. I'm not doing that. Like I'm just not doing that. And you're not doing that, and we just don't have that. You know, I think we got to set that ground rules, you know, up front because I'm not guarding a dick. Like I'm not walking around guarding a dick. I'm not trying to see, you know, oh, at who you're looking at the gas station, is somebody looking at you at that. If I have to do all of that, we have a deeper trust issue. Like there is a deeper issue there of I don't trust you. If I got to be worried about that, because I just got to trust your ability to just like block the DMs like I do. I mean, niggas in my DM, block, and we keep moving.
That's what I'm saying.
They looking at me at the gas station like they're looking at you. We block and we keep moving. Like nobody ain't doing that. Nobody ain't doing that. But now when we get into groceries and food and Thanksgiving and Christmas, I mean, you know, women, we you know, holidays are important to us, you know. And we like things to feel and flow, and when your family be acting crazy, and you know, sometimes we like things to feel and look a certain way, and we just be like, no, we ain't going over your cousin's house this year, you know, because there's just, you know, we don't want our Thanksgiving to be just all and just cussing each other out. We just want like a little different vibe, and I mean, sometimes that's what it's about. It ain't even really about I don't like your family. It's just that I want to create something of our own, or I want to have a certain experience. So, you know, sometimes it ain't even that deep, but
I feel like things will get swerved. Like if you don't like my mother, oh, you know, let's not do that. I'm like, we'll swerve that. But if I don't like your mother, well, why don't you try this? Or why don't you try that? So I have to just take it on the chin. Be like, this woman's gonna destroy me from head to toe today. I just gotta get used to it. But if my mom said anything like, I wouldn't wear those shoes. It's World War III, it's over. We're not going there for 5 years now. Like, you know what I'm saying? But your mother legitimately said the worst thing ever. Like, oh, that nigga's here again. You know, is he doing this? Did he do this? Did he get it? Does he have his job? Not saying that applies for me, but this is the lingo. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but we have to take on the chin and accept it. Meanwhile, like, if anything shakes the wrong way towards you, yeah, you know, cancel culture, 10 years. We'll talk about this, you know, when we're in, you know, in a decade. Things like that. You know what I mean?
I think it's how you respond to what happens with your family, how I respond. I think the response is important because whether it's mama, cousin, sister, or whatever, you know, I'm over there, you know, they'll say something or do something. I think I'll be looking for my husband to step in and kind of, respond and not put me in that position because he already know me, and that conversation may not, bode well for everybody. And now we have a real problem and nobody's talking for 10 years. And so I think that when you know how your family is and you know how your wife's personality is and vice versa, like I know my husband's personality and I know, like real life, I know my husband and I know my mama. And so when a conversation starts trending in a certain direction, I already see where it's going to go. I have to redirect that because I already know my husband and my mama finna butt heads on it. I already know because I know how he thinks. I know how she thinks. So I think that if we want everything to kind of go well between in-laws and cousin and all that, we have to take more, because I grew up with my family. I know how they are. I know how my husband is and vice versa. I think you got to step in. You can't just sit there and watch your mama and you can't watch your mama tell your wife certain stuff and you know how your wife is. You know your wife over there about to grind her back teeth in, not to cuss your mama out, So you just got to step in and kind of keep that thing from going that way.
I agree with that 100%. A wise man once said, don't get married unless you're prepared to apologize for things that you have no idea what happened.
I got that response on wedding day, bro. Just all the time. I'm like, yo, I was like, yeah, like, and I was like, oh, my bad. Like, someone bumped into me, like, my bad. And he's like, see, you already got a great start. This is gonna be great for you. You know what I'm saying? So
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes the show today, man, to be honest. So I want everybody to give their outros. If you want to say where they can find you at online or Instagram or whatever, just go ahead and do so. I'm DJ Pablo McAbee. Thanks for tuning in to 25-8 The Culture. Peace.
I'll go next. I just want to say thank you to our queens. Thank you, JJ Burroughs, for stopping by. Thank you, Schardescia, Faith and Fire, for stopping by. Schardescia had technical difficulties. That's why she went away. But thank her for stopping by, the first lady of the streets. Hey, ladies, I want to say this. This bridge is open. Anytime you need to walk on it, it's here. I hope you had a great time being on the show. We definitely appreciated you guys putting your 2 cents and everything. I know I learned a lot. I always take with me the trash lines. I know taking the trash out is now super important. So I'll make sure I'm always on top of it. But no, in all honesty, thank you so much for spending time with us. And you already know it's your boy D Wise. You know what I mean? We'll have the big fellas always in here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Peace.
Lance Draper, you already know what time it is. You know what I mean? Nobody's Podcast. Shout out to our sponsors, Big Money Boys. Check us out.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. You can find me on Instagram at jj.burrows and also on TikTok, because I'm doing really well there, at jj.burrows as well. But yeah, thank you guys for having me. This was awesome.
And this was so dope tonight. Thank you for the conversation. Always lively with this podcast. I've been tuning in, so I've really been enjoying it. I'm Schardescia Adams, and you can find me on IG at by Schardescia Adams. And you can also find me at Faith and Flyness.
Peace.